each one of those enclosures.
Sitting here reviewing some of my videos on YouTube and some of the comments, responding to them. I moved Sonny's big tank over here beside my computer desk today. She's been out watching me and watching the videos on YouTube. You know, it blows my mind. People think that snakes don't have feelings, they don't have emotions, and they're not very alert, not very aware of their environment. And that's the farthest thing from the truth. Now, Sunny was basically a rescue. I got her as a baby because she was traumatized as a baby. She's still very shy and timid. But I just moved her today, so she's out browsing around. She's been in here in this tank today since this morning, but she's exploring everything. She's been watching my computer monitor. I switch my snakes around a lot, so they're near where I am most of the day. So they see my activities, they see me moving around, they see action in my house. Stress-free environment I keep for them, but you know, if you want social snakes, you really have to give them a peaceful, calm environment. Loud music blasting all the time. A lot of people around them, in and out and in and out, walking back and forth past them. I have strict rules in my house for people that come to visit my snakes. I don't allow them to walk back and forth by the cages. I don't allow them to poke at my snakes. I'm very firm about the way my snakes are treated and how they're handled around people. The glare from my light over there. But she's been over here watching the computer monitor. Hi, what you doing, Sonny? She's a really big lemon pastel. She's a big girl. Why you got your back in your water dish, silly? You goofy. See, she's watching the monitor. Very active, very healthy girl. And she loves attention. I had her out this morning to move her tank over to here and move her over. So that's why she's pacing, because she wants to come back out again. They will let you know when they want to be out with you. That's not even something that's worth the trouble to discuss with people that think you shouldn't take your snakes out and you shouldn't handle them. See, she's watching my monitor. Because they are interested in a lot of things. They're naturally very curious animals. They do have an attention span. Mine will sit for hours and watch TV. So I don't figure out how so many people that keep snakes think these are just a lump of flesh that's content sitting in a cage all the time, never coming out. People say, well, they're content because they just lay around. I'm sorry, it's not that they're content. They're bored to freaking death. What else do they have to do in a snake enclosure if you don't offer them any activities? If they have no form of entertainment, of course they're going to lay around. What else is there for them to do if you don't take them out and let them get some exercise and entertain them? My snakes love to be out with people. But yeah, I'm so tired of hearing it. You shouldn't handle your snakes. You shouldn't take them out of your enclosure. People that think like that really should not have snakes, because you're doing everything wrong in their behalf. They are very social animals. They like interacting with people. They like interacting with other snakes. And contrary to what a lot of people say, they are not solo animals. They do thrive in a community with other snakes of the same species. I've done it myself. I raised Tawny and Crystal together for 8 years in the same enclosure. 2 females. They never had any differences. Of course, I took them out and fed them separately, but you know, they really loved each other's company. Now, it's like a good friend of mine, my daughter's son's friend's sister, came by yesterday with her mother to visit my snakes, because she's always wanted a snake. She said she wanted to be a breeder someday. And she fell in love with my 3 corn snakes, 3 of Tawny's holdbacks. I'm keeping Opal, my female, because I'm breeding her next year. But we were talking. She got to hold a lot of my snakes. She was so excited. Her mother wasn't very enthusiastic about it. She's kind of jittery around them, but Taylor loved them. She fell in love with them, and she wants one of the Tawny's 2-year-old corn snakes. I said, well, really, I'm funny about that because they were raised with other snakes. I've got 3 in the same enclosure, 2 males and a female. But come breeding season, the female gets pulled out, so they don't breed unless it's by my choice which one she breeds with. But I told her I prefer anyone that got snakes from me as babies. I insist they take at least 2 instead of just 1 because they are social animals. I've had up to 16 baby snakes in one enclosure together. You take one snake out and the rest of them will be frantic for 2 or 3 days looking for that missing snake, and they realize that snake is not there anymore. And you'd say, how can that be with 16 baby snakes in an enclosure? How could they miss that one snake? They do. They know that snake's missing and they will look for it and search for it. But, you know, that's my house rule with my babies. I'm going to be breeding a lot next spring, but I can't see a snake living alone if it is a social animal and they get along with other snakes, they get along with people. Why isolate them? Why reduce the quality of their life because that's what you feel like they should be doing? Give them a chance to show you that what you believe isn't necessarily so, because they really do enjoy interacting with people and other snakes. So yeah, my babies don't go out one at a time. At least 2 or more go out together. I will not sell a snake, one baby snake by itself, because none of my snakes as babies live alone. They're together with the other babies for companionship. A lot of breeders might be against that. I don't keep rack systems. I keep independent enclosures. And every one of my snakes are very social. They're not defensive as babies. They love being handled as babies. You'll never have that if you keep them sitting around in an enclosure all the time and don't spend any time with them. If they aren't exposed to any other living being and they spend all their lives sitting in a tank or a cage, what can you expect from them? What do you expect them to do except lay around all the time? That's not content. That's bored to death because they have no life living like that. Sorry to vent, but gosh, I'm so tired of hearing it from these people. You know, if you really feel like that your snakes are happy just sitting around, laying around all the time with no interaction with any people or other snakes, you really shouldn't be keeping snakes. And I'm firm on that. If you're going to isolate them, you're going to cut down their ability to live an active, normal life like a snake does out in the wild. Why would you think they should be any different living in a captive environment? A snake is a snake is a snake. Regardless of where it lives, regardless of how it lives, they still are a snake. Captive bred snakes are no different than a wild snake, except they don't have to fight for food. They don't have to constantly protect themselves and defend their lives. But you know, I can't get that point across to people enough that a snake has every right to live like a snake. That's why I take mine outdoors all spring and summer, because they have that right. I didn't get them to see them sitting around in a cage or a box all the time, or an enclosure. It just blows my mind how people think that's beneficial to them. You're basically making your snake handicapped because it has no life. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. And you know, I've listened to so much and I've dealt with so much, but you know, you just please rethink your situation with your snakes. These are animals with feelings. These are animals that love interaction. These are animals that bond with people and other animals. I proved that. My cat and snakes were best friends for 15 years and they never had a bad day together. You watch my monitor, huh? Yep. But my snakes are a very active part of my life. I could not, with a clear conscience, sit here and stare at them sitting in a tank all the time and not take them out, not spend any time with them. I'm sorry. To me, that's on the list of neglect, because you're not giving them a good quality of life, just leaving them sitting around all the time, bored to death, nothing to do, not a lot of room to get a lot of exercise. It's the real deal. That's how I feel about it, and I know there are a lot of other people that feel that way too. But yeah, this is Sunny. She's watching my monitor. You want the sound back? But they are. They have feelings. They like to interact. They like to be around people. They like to be around other snakes. Give them a chance. Let your snakes teach you about them. Obviously, you think that your point of view is the only one that counts when you're raising snakes. That's not the way it works. You have to look at the snakes from their point of view, not from yours. These are the animals that you're trying to give a good life to. And I just wanted to go off about that because I'm so tired of hearing it from people. It's cruel to handle your snakes. It stresses them out. It doesn't stress them out. It makes them active, healthy, thriving animals. It's just, I don't understand people's reasoning. It's so absurd. Thank you.